conversation that rules the nation. The name is Law Nation. Let's go. Appreciate everybody for jumping in. Be sure on your way in to hit that like, share this content, join the notification squad. You really never know when I go live for this time being. The Cowboys voided of big offseason moves versus other teams. That's the conversation for the nation for this particular show. We're going to talk about a few other things as well as you guys fill up the room. Really appreciate everybody who watched the Malik Davis video. And I appreciate everybody who watched the Sam Williams video. I really do. Let's go. They really say ain't no party like a Cowboy party. If you're a Cowboy fan, let me see those blue hearts in the chat. And put down where are you from. Check in. Clock in. Let's go. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to my JSU Tigers. Prime time for your mind. He's going at another go. Nick Saban. We're going to talk about that too if we have enough time. Let's go. All right. One love, everybody. Really appreciate each and every last one of you all for tuning in. Like I said, the name is Law Nation, and we talk Cowboys, sports talk, and beyond. And, of course, we know the news of other teams making moves, and we're not making moves. Come on. Here we go. Yeah. But it is what it is, Cowboy Nation. It is what it is. I just look at it like, you already know. You know, that's why we got to look at it, baby. Appreciate everybody for being part of this episode. Shout out to you, Keith. Okay, Waynesboro. Okay, Mississippi. Shout out to you, Keith. You know, what was the name? There's some people from that area. Not going to yell out the name. But it is what it is. Shout out to Waynesboro. Shout out to you, Leo. Shout out to you, Leon and Kelly Price. Donald Weaver, appreciate you. Shout out to JSU. We got to stay true, right? Parking lot pimping. That's what we doing. We waiting for the stragglers, right? Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones around this time frame is sitting back. They chilling. They are not making any major moves at this point. The well is dry. You're just scraping at the bottom right now at this point to see if you can get a little more for that water that you want to try to drink. Grapevine, shout out to you, Terrell. Appreciate you. Spring, Texas, shout out to you. Connecticut in the house. H-Town, get down. Appreciate you. I didn't know there was an Oscar, Kansas. Appreciate you. But we got, see, I love when I say that, you know, when I say, Cowboy Nation, where y'all from? And then we hear people saying this location and that location, Maryland, you know, Hawaii, Temple, Texas, Buffalo, Texas, New York. You know, we got people from all over the globe. I don't know many other teams can do that, right? Right? They can't do that. So it is what it is. Yeah, we got here. Boy, Akron, Ohio. What's up, baby? Delaware, baby. What's up, man? Shout out to y'all. Let me get on with this. But here's the thing, Cowboy Nation. The Dallas Cowboys, if we get one, let me say this. If we can make one more pick in the free agency, who would you love to go see the Cowboys pick up? Is it Jadeveon Clowney? Is it Anthony Barr? Anthony Hitchens? Is it RG3? Because I've seen a lot of people, Lord, what about RG3? You know, I said no. All right. So if you can get one more guy, who would you like for the Cowboys to go grab? Somebody said Sue. Okay, I can see Sue. Julio Jones. All right. Who else? Baker Mayfield. Okay. I feel y'all. You know, who would be that one more player that you guys would like to see in a Cowboys uniform? And my thing is, the Cowboys, we've been sitting back, and other teams been moving. And speaking of other teams, Eagles, they've been moving, right? And every time I post something, I get a nice Eagle fan to jump in and say, "Hey, Law, why you talking about my Eagles, man? My Eagles gonna beat y'all, man. We gonna beat y'all, man. I know it didn't happen since y'all had Ben DiNucci. That's the only time we beat y'all. But just wait, we gonna get y'all this year, you know." Odell Beckham, okay, I feel you. Antonio Brown, not Anthony Brown, but Antonio Brown, yeah. That's how it is. Let me know if I'm lying. See, y'all scared. Yeah, y'all scared, man. Slay and Bradbury, man. You see them boys right there is going to be some shutdown DBs. Disregard the 40 points. That was Sirianni's first defensive calling game of that year. But it's okay. We'll see y'all, man. Fly, Eagles, fly. I can't make this up. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, okay, cool, you know. It's okay. Yeah, y'all going to have 2 shutdown corners, right? And y'all got a nasty front four, right? So it is what it is. And last year, I'm the defender. I should change my name to Law, the Defender Cowboys Nation. You know, I should have all of that into my name. Because last year, it wasn't the Eagles. I think that they was pretty much calm with it last year. Last year was the Washington team. And I don't even see a Washington team don't even know how to type in go Washington now, you know. But last year around this time, boy, you couldn't stop a Washington fan. I mean, they done had like 30 content creators to the summons out of nowhere. But shout out to Louis T, though. Shout out to him. And it's another one that it's the tip of my tongue. But shout out to Louis T. He kept the same energy all year round, you know. We do need a kicker. This is from Jackson. No, man, we good with kickers, man. We good with kicker. We got Jonathan Garibay. Oh, my gosh. Jalen Tolbert cooking Slay. Now, granted, shout out to my Mississippi State boys. Shout out to Darius Slay. And Slay is not a sus DB. I'm going to say that he's not sus. He is a decent DB out there. And one can argue, if you want to put elite on that status, you can say that, but I'm just going to stay with the line of, hey, he's decent with his skill set and his craft. And he ain't trash. He ain't trash, right? James Bradbury, he is a decent DB. He ain't trash, right? So those two DB combination, who knows? Who knows, right? But I'm hedging my bet that Dan Quinn, Kingdom Fitz as Commander, assemble. Xavier Rhodes is out there on the streets. I feel you. Suave TV says Hassan Reddick. That's about it. He's about that life. Okay. But keep in mind, we faced Hassan Reddick before, and my running backs ran over 140 yards on him. And keep in mind, we faced James Bradbury before. And can somebody put down the final scores of both times we played and just put both of those numbers together of what we did to the Giants last year? Can y'all put the Giants score down together, right? And also put down the total combined score of what we did to those Eagles last year. Oh, I get what they trying to do. You know, they said, you know what? Since we can't beat them on the team that we used to play on, we'll just jump on the Eagles and see if we can reform the alliance. You know what I'm saying? You know, because that's just what it is. Slay is overrated and getting older. Hey, it is what it is. So 92 points against the Eagles, Jay Lombardi. Appreciate you. Okay, so 92 points against the Eagles. And what was the combined score of the Giants game? Yeah. What was the combined score of the Giants game? All right, so we beat the Giants, and I believe that Bradbury was on that team, right? He was out there, right? And we beat the Panthers. Do you guys remember the Panthers? We beat them too. Oh my gosh, man. All right. Yeah, Hassan was on the Panthers. I remember. He balled out for the Cards, right? And he was looking for a contract, and he jumped over to the Panthers. They scooped him up, and he had 11 to 12 sacks or what have you. Pretty good, double-digit sacks. Bigelow says the Eagles haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver since 2014. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Shout out to you, Tariq. Appreciate you. Cameron Holmes, appreciate you. Wins don't count when you play when you play backups. Laugh out loud. Yeah, wins don't count when you play backups. Shoo. Name me one Eagles fan that didn't gloat, that didn't talk noise and ridicule us and spit upon us and walked around and said, fly, Eagles, fly to the land of no victory. When they beat Ben DiNucci, did they give us a break? Did they sit like find me the channel and let me know so I can watch that video from through and through and let me see how humble they were when they said, you know what, it's the Cowboys and they have Benjamin DiNucci out there. And you know what, since Benjamin DiNucci is the quarterback and we won the game, we not even going to talk noise, right? We're going to sit back. We're going to just relax and move it on and be a gentleman and move on to the next game. Find me that person. Find me that tape. Find me that clip, and I'll play it. We'll super thanks it. We'll do a whole bunch of things for that person. You won't find any. So why all of a sudden, when the Cowboys beat them with their backups or what have you, and I'm quite sure they kept their defensive starters in that game, but that's a story of a different day. But find me that one person and said, you know what? Cowboys had Benjamin DiNucci. It was a pandemic year. We're not going to gloat about it. You can't. But it is what it is at this point. And that's why I love the offseason. We got 4 months before the season kick off or what have you. And the momentum will build up to this level of us talking about, hey, who's going to do this and who's going to do that. Working and chilling, bro. Appreciate you. And here's our only thing with Cowboy fans is we got the Cowboy fans who are still sucking on sour grapes about us not winning the playoff game. And it's me versus other Cowboy fans versus Eagles fans versus Washington fans versus Giants fans, right? But Giants, Washington, they're not talking that much. It's the Cowboys' own fans and the Eagles fans. It's talking a lot of stuff, right? They talking a lot of stuff. Your own team, self-annihilation, right? Dak Prescott, he can't do it. He's terrible, Law. We should start Cooper Rush. Ezekiel Elliott, he's washed up, right? It's civil war amongst ourselves. We don't even have the heart to fight for our team. We don't even have the mindset to say, yeah, you know what? That's okay. That's cool. Other teams are making moves. But, dogging, I'm not finna allow other teams to just come over here and just talk about my house. No, this is my house. And I made a brilliant point the other day. A lot of people were saying, well, how can you support this team? Law has been over 25 to 26 years. But in the proper context, have it been over 20 years for the Rams? Right? They've been waiting to get back to that Super Bowl, and they ultimately won it last year. They didn't get a prize or a cookie for going to the Super Bowl to lose it the year they lost to Tom Brady and company, right? Or did they lose to Tom Brady? Yeah, they went to the Super Bowl, right? They lost to Brady, right? They kept it moving. They figured out things and rebuilt. But you'll be a crazy fool to think that in that franchise, in that organization, if they kept Fisher, they would have made it to the Super Bowl. They would have won a Super Bowl with Fisher, right? So we as Cowboy fans, you got to understand, we out of that 27 years, look, it's 27 years, never seen a lick of success. Yeah, but after 27 years, 13 of those years, we had a crazy situation with this organization. This is not me putting lipstick on a pig. These are the ultimate truth. We had Wade Phillips and Jason Garrett for 13 of those years. And one can argue how long we had Dave Campo. You really think that Dave Campo, come on, let's be real. Let's be real with ourselves at this point. Cowboy fan, true and truth, blood bleeding blue and silver, leaking out of the pores when we sweat. You really thought that we was going to win the Super Bowl with Dave Campo? Shane Gailey, come on. Did you guys really thought that we was going to be able to win the Super Bowl with those boys? All of the Cowboy fans. So, yeah, you lump in all of those years with the front office hiring those guys. Our best chance would have been with Bill Parcells. If we had Bill Parcells for the length of time that we had Jason Garrett, or the length of time that we had, maybe if we went from Barry Switzer to Bill Parcells and then get Jason Garrett, maybe we would have had more success. But what you guys are doing basically is pouring upon the downfalls of that previous administration on this one. You are. Case in point, Mike McCarthy's second year, he took the team 12-5. And a third of the Cowboy Nation is ready to move on from him now. Got thin, razor blade thin of patience with Mike McCarthy, even when you see things are changing. And I'm not the biggest fan of Mike McCarthy heading into this thing. You guys know I'm not perfect. I was banging on the table for Urban Meyer. You guys remember? I'm not afraid to fall on the sword. How'd that go? How did that went, right? Urban Meyer was checking out the ladies. I'm glad he didn't come down to Dallas, boy. It would have been news left and right. It would have been just like this, left and right. It would have been just like this. Urban Meyer called it concrete cowboy with multiple cameras fixated on the females. Oh, my gosh. But we got Mike McCarthy. God dog it. 6-10 his first year. Combing through the pandemic. And the team that won the division won only, I believe, one more game than Mike. Right? And then his second year, he goes 12-5. He got a better defensive coordinator, by the way, Dan Quinn. And there's a third of the Cowboy Nation that's rooting for Mike McCarthy to fail so that ultimately Dan Quinn can get the job or a guy by the name of Sean Payton can get the job. That's now that's crazy, my friends. Oh, man, I hope Mike McCarthy fails so we can go get Sean Payton. How did that make sense? Because I believe that Sean Payton will stand up to Jerry and have an independent mind and he can get this offense going. I can't make this stuff up. So, this third year, are the Cowboys getting any better? Are they worse than what they were the previous year? Or are they the same? Well, every year we've gotten better, right? From 6-10 to 12-5. So let's see what they're going to do now. One can argue even when the 6-10 year, Cowboys were still top 10 in offense. And believe it or not, down the final stretch, they became 7th in takeaways. And that's with a whole different defensive coordinator. Now the team for the 2021 last season, first in takeaways, first on third down defense. Yeah, first ticket out of the playoff, right? And they went to this mindset saying, okay, now we have to bring forth the mentality, the mindset. The attitude need to be adjusted around here. There's too many choir boys in the choir. You know, it's too many, I hit you, I help you up. No, the mentality. Iron sharpen iron, steel sharpen steel type of situation. Big time conference championship at least. We could want that. We could want that. We could want that. But that's not the goal. You got to get back into winning football, and that mindset got to be there. Now, I set upon an expectation that 12-5 is the floor, right? Get into the playoff. That should be warranted, right? Then after you win the playoff game, then we can start talking about conference championships, Super Bowl or what have you, if you want to use that word. But we should set those levels of expectations. I've talked long enough. Let me see if I can find this clip right quick. So, Good Morning America. They had a Good Morning America. Good Morning Football. They had a good topic, and primarily they talking about the moves that happen in the NFL. Dak is barbecue chicken. Law Nation Sports, appreciate you. Yep. Check your way. Hot dog and bologna. That's okay. Get excited, Cowboy Nation.
It's Thursday, May 19th. You're watching Good Morning Football. I'm Jane Slater, joined by Kyle Brandt, Mike Robb, and Peter Schrager. And guys, every time I see the eggs, I get a little hungry at this hour. Kyle, what was your power?
I do it, Jane. Wait.
Let me fast forward.
Time for lead block, guys. All right, you said it right there. Let's start in Philly. Yes, where the Eagles made another big addition to their defense yesterday. Pro Bowl cornerback James Bradbury, the #1 defensive free agent according to NFL.com, agreed to terms on a one-year deal worth up to $10 million. All right, so guys, that's just the latest addition in what's been a very productive offseason for the Eagles on both sides of the ball, by the way. Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean in the draft, and then the massive A.J. Brown trade that got us all excited. Just some of the moves so far, they are set up in Philly, but that begs the question, fellas. Are the Eagles the big offseason winners in the NFC East now? Kyle, can't wait to hear what you have to say about this one.
All right, so here's the notable additions for the other team, the Eagles. They acquired A.J. Brown. They acquired Dak Prescott. They also have the linebacker Hassan Reddick, Kaiser White, and James Bradbury. Now, through the draft, they went and got Cam Jurgens, and they got Big Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean. Remember, I'm not just going to say Jordan Davis. I'm just going to say Big Jordan Davis. He's not little. It's a Big Jordan Davis. So let's listen to those boys. The audio, let me know. See, Nick said turn the audio up. I got it up all the way, and even my mic, so it may distort everything as far as the volume of everything. So let me know if you guys can hear. So those are the guys. Those are the people that they picked up during this off season. Let's listen to these boys, and I'm going to give you guys my reaction.
It's hard to say no to this one, Jane. You just served this up, tee high, let it fly. If you look around the NFC East locker room and you're the Eagles, all right, there's the Commanders, and they decided to go with Carson Wentz. That's interesting. The Giants, they're going to march out Daniel Jones again. That's interesting. And look, say what you want about the Cowboys. Did they really get better? Are they a better product than they were last year? I don't know, but I know for damn sure that those guys in green are. Remember, this was a playoff team with a rookie head coach, and now they're going to take the field this fall with the best receiver in the division, with the best O-line in the division, and if you wanted to pick apart the Eagles this year, it's their defense. I don't know, is the defense ready? Well, they go and get James Bradbury, a very good player who I think is not on the Giants, mostly because he was very expensive. And Howie said, I don't care. Come on over, baby. That's what we do here. Everybody is welcome here at the Eagles Inn, and I think it's fascinating. He talked yesterday about you could have signed with anybody. Why did you sign with the Eagles? And he said, I looked at their team. This is Bradbury. I like their team, and I like their D-line. And the D-line is the defensive back's best friend. Who doesn't like the D-line? Whether it's Jordan Davis, who is 6'8", 450 pounds, or Fletch, or Reddick off the end, or the guy Nakobe Dean, who was drafted in the 3rd round and could win the defensive rookie of the year. And the last point I'll make, guys, because 'tis the season, you always got to pull the schedule up. You always have to check the schedule. You know who the Cowboys start with? They start with Tampa and the Bengals. That stinks like 0-2. Here's that gauntlet that Philly starts with. Lions, Vikings, Commanders, Jaguars. That smells like 3-1. Philly's done great work in the front office, great work in the offseason. I love Philly right now. Mike Robb, join the party, baby. Join it.
All right. So you guys heard it. So let me ask you this. Do you win the Super Bowl in September? Or dog it, do you win the Super Bowl in May? Yeah, I just need to know. Now, building that camaraderie, the momentum, you can grab it during the offseason, and especially the brotherhood. You want to do that now, right? But do you win the Super Bowl in September? And I would rather for us, believe it or not, to slowly start off and finish hot. I do. I said that last year, and I got shanked with multiple butter knives. You know, they was like, nah, Law, we need to win. This is a must-win game. Week 1 is a must-win game. They said, Law, you picking the Cowboys to lose week 1 last year. You not a real Cowboy fan. You know, we supposed to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's to set the pace, set the tone. I said, no, I want those boys to be competitive. I want them to compete. Same for this year. I want us to compete in September. Do all of the necessary installments that we really need to get done with. If Jalen Tolbert need to get his feet all the way wet, make your mistakes in September. October, we're going to be looking at it like, dog, you can't be making the same mistake. And last year, it's the reverse effect from last year. Last year, collectively speaking, I said it's the offense is going to make sure everything is together, and it will be the defense catching up with the offense. Well, for this year, 2022, since the offense supposed to hit its epic failure and supposed to drop, well, can the defense help aid the offense? That's what I need now. peaking in May. Greg Berry, I love that. Right. You definitely want to peak right now. Sure, we peaked last year, and sometimes I look back at that game, that Patriots game, and I'll say to myself, I would rather, and I know this sounds crass, I would rather for us to lose that game versus win that game on that last pass when Dak Prescott pulled that calf muscle. I would rather for us to flat out lose, right? So that play never exists. We go into the bye week, everybody questioning everybody, saying that, hey, you went on a 4-game winning spree instead of the 5th-game winning spree. Let the naysayers talk about, hey, look at the same old Cowboys. Just look at them. They suck. They can't win the big game. I would rather for us to go through that. And then after the bye, you have Dak Prescott going up against the Vikings, the doggone Denver Broncos, etc. And I think that would have been better if Dak never had that calf injury and we were to flat out lose that game. I know people said, nah. But, I talked to my ancestors and we went back into the path and I saw the alternate universe. Man, we would have had historic numbers on the great end of it if that never happened. I talked to my ancestors about it. I did. I went back and I had the relic and I turned the time and I went back and I saw what happened. I said, man, if we never had that injury, I'm just joking with y'all. I watched too much Doctor Strange, huh?
I'm popping
Time
champagne,
Stone, baby.
man. I'm throwing money up in the air. The party is in Philly. I'm telling you, bro. Howie Roseman has been absolutely a G. He's been in his bag. And this is what I mean. He's always thinking about right now. They're never truly in a rebuilding mode, but he also has an eye toward the future as well. You look at that trade with the Saints a little bit earlier this offseason, getting a first-round pick this year, getting another first-round pick in next year's draft, some second-round picks, another third-round pick. Howie Roseman has been in his bag, and he is so be any number 2 cornerback. I'm talking about the first-round pick for the Philadelphia Eagles last year. And with all of that speed on the outside, it opens up things for Miles Sanders. And then, Kyle, you talked about the defensive side of the ball. Hassan Reddick may be one of my favorite pass rushers in the National Football League right now. You know why? Because he bet on himself. You look at in 2020, his last year in Arizona, 12 and a half sacks, 15 tackles for a loss, 16 quarterback hits, right? He's like, I need a long-term deal. Didn't quite get it. Got a short-term deal with the Carolina Panthers. What did he do last year in his only season there? 11 sacks, 12 tackles for a loss, 18 quarterbacks for hits. The guy bets on himself. He is an assassin when he's going after the quarterback. He understands times and games when it's the right time to go after the quarterback, kind of like a Von Miller. He's back at home. He's from Camden, New Jersey. There's the defensive additions that Howie Roseman added to this Philadelphia team. I'm sorry, I'm a Howie Roseman fan now. I've been critical of him. I was critical of him for his Nick Sirianni pick. I thought he was just hiring a yes man. I was wrong, Philly fans. Okay, you added me. You wrote me letters and all that. I'm sorry. I will never say anything negative again. But at the end of the day, Howie Roseman, the guy you got calling the shots, I can't say anything bad about him. And he's one of those top executives in the National Football League.
Now, there's no rebuttal. There's flat out no rebuttal to that. Howie Roseman, his ability to make things happen as relates to those details of trades and thinking forward and always in the room working out a detail to get multiple draft picks. He runs circles. Now, I'll be a fool to sit here and say that far as player acquisition on the trade aspect of what you can get out of value, to put Stephen Jones versus Howie Roseman in the same context. No, I can't do it, Cowboy Nation. I love y'all, but I'm not finna sit here to lie to kick it to you guys. Howie Roseman, his ability to do all of those deals and move and wheeling and dealing, shout out to him, because I'm the Cowboy fan that was laughing, right, at the Eagles. It was a blessing to see Chip Kelly, run that organization into the ground. I was like, yes, go Chip, go. I wish my biggest thing is I wish the Eagles never gave up on Chip Kelly. And I wish that we talk glowingly of Chip Kelly. If he were to stay there for 10 to 15 years, boy, oh my goodness, what that organization would have turned into, right? But Chip Kelly left. He did. And we were looking at it like, all right, cool. They brought in this other dude who was pretty much a disciple of Andy Reid because we knew that they really wanted Andy Reid. And we scoffed and laughed at that. For real, for real. We laughed. And then the second year, we were like, oh no, they made it to the playoffs. Oh, no. Wait a minute, excuse me. They won a playoff game. They won another one. They in the Super Bowl. Oh, no. The Eagles are in the Super Bowl. And we had on one end Tom Brady and the other end the Eagles. It was crazy. It was flat out crazy. And as Cowboys fans or even as fans of the game, you sit there and you said, you have to make a choice between in a Super Bowl to watch Tom Brady or the Eagles win the Super Bowl. Let's be real. Let's have this conversation, Cowboy Nation. Did y'all really wanted Tom to get that ring? Or did you really? It was like, damn, man, at least if the Eagles win, everybody in our division will at least have a ring, right? A Super Bowl ring. Instead of titles, whatever they want to claim since 1912. That was a crazy year for us. But that doggone Howie Roseman, shout out to you, Sadiq, but thank you so much for being part of the membership squad. I really appreciate you and all that you do for the nation. So we were stuck. And you know what? You know what was more painful than watching the Eagles win that Super Bowl? Is hearing the Eagles all year. Fly, Eagles, fly. Fly, Eagles, fly. I told y'all, we better than y'all, man. We ate them horse droppings, but that's okay, man. We better than y'all, man. Yeah, we got one ring, and if you really count the 1912 and the 1933 ring, and if you really add in the 1960 ring and whatever 27 ring, we got 4 really. So hey, man, we better than y'all, man. Although y'all younger than us, we better than those Cowboys. We won multiple championships. Let me know if I'm lying. Oh my gosh, man. The phone lines are open, but they're not open. You just if you call in, just reserve your spot right there and I'll get right to you when we finish with this. But that's what happened. That's what happened. I seen somebody call in or what have you, but that's what's going on, who that is. So yeah, hold tight, Marvin. Appreciate you though.
Okay, damn.
It's refreshing, right? It's refreshing to have an executive say, you know what, let's do the best thing we can do, spend some money and bring in these players and try to win while we have this window. I would just give a cautionary tale because I've been in this chair a long time, and I remember 11 years ago, the offseason, and it was a little later because it was after the lockout and there was a spending spree, but the Eagles went, and we're coming off 3 playoff seasons. They had the number 2 offense in the league the year before. And they got Nnamdi Asomugha, and they got Jason Babin, and they got Rogers Cromartie. And then they went and they got, I remember it was Cullen Jenkins, and it was Donald Lee.
Remember?
But it was Steve Smith, the other one. And then it was Vince.
We beat him.
And Vince Young came out in there, and it was an innocuous press conference quote. But I remember Scott Hansen was the guy who asked it at the NFL Network, says, what do you think about the pieces added? And Young went through it all, and he said, Dream Team. Ha, ha, ha. From Nnamdi to Rogers Cromartie to Jason Babin to myself. You know we're going to do some things. It's just beautiful to see what we're trying to do. I would just say, if you're an Eagles fan, be patient. I saw flame emojis from Ian Rappaport's tweet when they got James Bradbury. James Bradbury was cut by the Giants. He was cut. Very seldom do Pro Bowl players that have great film get cut. And in this case, Kyle, you said, well, it's because he made a lot of money. We've learned in the NFL this offseason, you can work things out. You can restructure. James Bradberry was cut. Let's not do any ticker tape parades down Broad Street just yet for getting a player who your division opponent released. Let's just be patient. Let's see how it all comes together before we crown the Eagles in the regular season. But yes, are they winning the offseason? Sure. Enjoy that trophy.
Woo! All right, so let's be real. All right, so Eagles fans, I see a few of you guys in here. What's a better combination? Slay and James Bradberry or Nnamdi Asomugha, that's how you say his name, and Roger Kamari? Which better combination? I didn't think of that until what he said. What's a better combination? Choose wisely now. Oh, Swag says Slay and Brad is better than Nnamdi. Okay. And Kamari. Okay. All right. I'm going to read Slay and Brad. Okay. All right. Who else? Neither. C. Burleson. Nnamdi was good when he played with the Raiders, though. And he got fooled around and got transferred over there and went over there and played at the Eagles and disappeared. Shout out to my guy, Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant, boy. I believe he feasted off of those birds for a long time. And Cromartie, he was pretty good, man. I ain't going to even, talk bad about kid. He was a ranger, he was quick, he was fast, and I'll never forget that pick six he had on us. And Cromartie was shit. I don't think Bradberry gonna catch a pick six on us though. Is Nnamdi still in the league? I don't know. Nnamdi, I saw Nnamdi on Amazon Prime. He not delivering packages, but he's in the movies. He acting now. Big Play, Slay, and Mr. Barry. Okay. Let's go. Look, honestly, who's going to say that Nnamdi and Kamari, honestly, now wasn't a good situation for the Eagles. But if you asked them then, you couldn't get out words. We got two shutdown corners, man. We got the young Vince Young. It's finna go total bonanza. That's what it's going to be. It's going to go crazy. But, oh, boy, let's listen.
I love Ian Rappaport and his flame emojis, his dog filters when he's breaking news. Always a good follow, our boy Rap Sheet. All right, so the question, guys, isn't going to be who's going to win the division. It's who's been an off-season winner. And even though Stephen Jones here in Dallas keeps telling us beat reporters that he's not done in free agency, we're still waiting for them to make a move. And the moves that they've brought here, guys like James Washington, haven't really moved the meter for us. Dante Fowler, okay. They lost a lot of guys in free agency. So I got to think that when I'm looking at this division, I'm looking at Washington and I'm looking at the Giants.
Before she go a little bit further, when we picked up, look, I have to bring it in for you guys, man. And this is not me putting lipstick on the pig. It's not. I kid you guys not. When we brought in my guy, J-Ron Curse, a lot of people were saying, man, that's a terrible situation. He ain't going to do nothing. And J-Ron Curse, he can't do nothing. Let me pull it up right quick. J-Ron Curse, law, he trash, he ain't doing nothing. That's what the Joneses do. They pick up trash off the streets. He had 75 solo tackles, 2 INTs, 52 receptions allowed, 63 targets. He had 1 sack. He only missed 3 tackles. Passer rating when targeted is 83.2. So the kid, and shout out to him against Travis Kelce. He picked him off. He showed up in that game and he did his thing, right? So on the flip side, about Randall Cobb, Law, he's washed. Law, he ain't gonna do nothing. He suck. He's trash. He's da-da-da. And all that we seen was, let me see what Randall Cobb, let me see what he did. Let me go right here. Randall Cobb, let me put him up. All right, so this is what he did last year. 28 receptions. But when he was with Dallas, let's see. 38 receptions. Okay, 19. 55 receptions, 828 receptions, 3 tubs. Okay, that's was when he was with Dallas. I get it. But when we look at that production, and we would say to ourselves, passer rating went target. He had 100. Now, he had a lot of drops. God dog, man. Hold on to the ball. 9 drops, but that's a story of a different day. But let me see what A.J. Brown was doing. You know, let's see what he did last year. Yeah. Oh, similar to our third. Did you guys see what I say? Similar production to our third wide receiver. And now he is considered to be their first. 869 yards, 5 tubs, 63 receptions. Let me go back. Let me just do this again. Let me type in Randall Cobb as our third option. And let me go here. Let me go here. Let me go there. But he's their one, which was considered our third. But that's the story of a different day. I'm not finna go down that. I'm just showing you guys the situation, and then we got to add context and stuff into it, what have you. But he was our third, and he put up that production. What did it even look to be our first?
Eagles, and I think the A.J. Brown was one of the biggest splashes in this division as it relates to free agency. And A.J. Brown has 24 catches since 2019. The only other guy in his draft class to match that is DK Metcalf. And you look at pairing him with Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, you're finally giving Jalen Hurts some weapons. And when I look at the Giants, I think that they're going to get there. But I think Brian Daboll is going to probably need another quarterback and at least a year under his belt. I don't know what to make of Washington. I certainly don't know if I've got a lot of faith in Carson Wentz. So to me, I look at this division, you got to get past the Cowboys. And Jalen Hurts right now is 0-2 against them. In fact, he has more interceptions than he has touchdowns. That's why I think it's important that you give Jalen Hurts
Can you read that again?
Giants, I think that they're going to get there. But I think Brian Daboll is going to probably need another quarterback and at least a year under his belt. I don't know what to make of Washington. I certainly don't know if I've got a lot of faith in Carson Wentz. So to me, I look at this division, you got to get past the Cowboys. And Jalen Hurts right now is 0-2 against them. In fact, he has more interceptions than he has touchdowns. That's why I think it's important that you give Jalen Hurts some weapons. And it doesn't hurt that he was one of the guys actively recruiting A.J. Brown, working out with him in the offseason. This is a guy that he wanted to be there. So, again, going back to the question, are Eagles the big offseason winners in the NFC East? I think they're the offseason winners. I don't know if they're going to be the in-season winners because even though you mentioned there, Kyle, how favorable their schedule is to start the season, the Cowboys have an incredibly favorable schedule, period, particularly towards the end of their schedule. So, again...
Woo, baby. Look. The way Jane just laid that up to all of the fellas on this panel while they was just talking such a nice, beautiful soliloquy about the Eagles. And she just said, the playoffs is in reach for the Cowboys on how the flavor of the schedule ends for the Cowboys, juxtaposed on how it starts. And I come here to tell y'all beautiful people that's watching and listening right now, when you contextualize what I said earlier, I would rather for us to start off slow and then finish the season off hot. Well, that's within reach.
Offseason winners, free agent acquisitions, give me the Eagles. I just don't know what to make of the division as a whole, though, moving forward.
Yep. Akeem says lost CD drops were money throws. Yep. Now, here's my thoughts on CD Lamb, who will be the number one wide receiver on this team. And even if you contextualize it as, the Cowboys would do wide receiver by committee approach, I get that. And Lamb did have 7 drops last year. 7 drops, and that is terrible. And what's another alarming stat to CeeDee Lamb is that Dak Prescott threw 10 interceptions last year. 6 of the 10 interceptions that Dak Prescott threw was in a direction to Lamb. So that chemistry must improve. You see what I'm saying? You see what I just did right there? Was that reasonable? Was that objective analysis? Did I say that, hey, Lamb is without a spot or blemish? No. Lamb got his warts. But what most people tend to do, Cowboy Nation, is, the craziest thing, I had an Eagles fan to call in yesterday, and it hit me after the show. He was saying that basically, hey, man, you guys got to stop. You guys got to stop talking about my Hurts, man. This is his first year ever playing quarterback. And I said, wait a minute. What year was Hurts drafted? Can somebody put that down in the chat? What year was Hurts drafted? Jalen Hurts. What year was he drafted? Can somebody put that down in the chat, please? Pretty please with the cherry on the top. What year was he drafted? Oh, 2020. And what year was, dare I say, CeeDee Lamb and Trayvon Diggs drafted? Can y'all put that down? Can you please, with the cherry on the top, put that down? So my expectation is this right here. You expecting CeeDee Lamb, it was his second year last year, to be the quote unquote, without a doubt, the number one wide receiver on this team when he's still wet behind the ear, right? You will hold him to that standard. And we're going to put Diggs in the corner. So we shouldn't hold Jalen Hurts to that standard? Huh? Well, let's get into this. Oh, and Diggs. We hold Trayvon Diggs to the standard in the degree of what they expecting other DBs to do. And people fail to realize Diggs all pro. Was Diggs playing in this league for 4 years, 5 years? Oh, Diggs, that was his second year ever. Played in the National Football League, and y'all hold Trayvon Diggs to the Jalen Ramsey standard. How long Jalen Ramsey been in the league? For 5 to 6 years, right? 6 or 7 years. That Diggs, he okay, baby. He ain't. I've literally seen people say, man, I'd rather have James Bradberry over Diggs. How many years James Bradberry been in the league? Oh, how many years Slay been in the league? I wonder what Slay was doing his second year. I wonder what he was doing his second year in the league, since everybody, I want to know if he was catching, 11 interceptions and shutting down stuff, I wonder what he was doing, What year was he drafted, by the way? I need to know, what year was Slay drafted? What year was James Bradberry was drafted? Huh? But it is what it is. Don't allow these guys to have a time to develop. We exposed Ramsey yesterday. Yeah, I ain't finna pull up those stat lines again. They just got to go watch yesterday's tape. Yep, Ramsey gave up 900 yards, and this is my guy, B.D. Gray. And I know B.D. Gray because he will prove it with the screenshots. He would prove it with the screenshots on Twitter. And I have yet to see anybody prove it with the screenshots with my guy Trayvon Diggs giving up 1,000 yards. And even if he did in his second year, so because I went down line by line, and the game that he gave up the most yards and we lost, the only one game was the Denver Broncos game, 81 yards. Every other game we won. The most yards he gave up in one game was against the New Orleans. He gave up 98 yards. And he had a pick in that game. So here's my argument about all of this. Here's my argument. That if garbage time stats exist for Dak Prescott, then garbage time stats exist for Trayvon Diggs. Because yards given up, the majority of those yards, we won the game anyway. He gave up 56 yards in that Atlanta Falcons game. They scored 3 points, man. Come on. So if I'm dropping back in a situation, if I'm playing prevent defense and the guy somehow throw the ball on my side of the field, yeah. Give me those yards. We winning. We kicking butts over there. Garbage time stats. Now, Brandon Ayuk and that little kid, Kadarius Toney, I'm not finna refute that. They burnt my guy Diggs up like a Roman candle. Burnt toast. I don't want to see Trayvon Diggs on those bodies of type of wide receivers. I don't. I'm not finna lie to kick it to y'all. I'm not. I don't. Some DBs just don't match up well with certain types of wide receivers. If you think I'm lying, let me know when Rod Woodson ever had a chance to dog out my guy, the playmaker. It just that the playmaker was able to kill Rod Woodson. I shouldn't say the word Kill. Facebook, I'm just using that as an analogy. Facebook, please don't put me in jail. I forgot you can't say those words online. That was just an analogy since I'm live on Facebook. But the playmaker had fits against Aeneas Williams. Bobby Taylor, for those old Eagles fans that's in here. He had issues with Bobby Taylor. He had issues with Aeneas Williams. But he had no issues with Rod Woodson. And it was 50-50 with the playmaker versus the prime, and prime still PI'd him. Oh, my gosh, man. Seahorn. Shout out to the Seahorns of the world. Darryl Green was just sneaky. We would still get some yards over Darryl Green. Darryl Green was just sneaky, fast, or what have you, and he was that DB that even 54. Yeah, that joker still ran a 4.3. We got a guy that's on our team. It's a long shot for him to make the team. Malik Davis, he ran a 4.71. But when you look at the tape, the dude's just he's fast, but he's slow. But Darryl Green, I believe, if he's still alive, y'all let me know. I think he can still run a 4.340. 5'8", 4.340. All right, so Bobby, let me see. My guy Will says Darryl Green is the only former skin that I was a fan of. Oh, I feel you. Let me see. Washington team fan of? I like Darryl Green. I give kudos to him, Sean Taylor, and what's the DB name that they got from that trade acquisition? I liked him, and that's about it. Sean Taylor, Darryl Green, and I'll be talking about Arkmont, got all those boys. Let me see. Sean Taylor and Darryl Green. Yeah. Hall, I couldn't stand Hall, and I couldn't stand Doug Williams. Only reason why I like Doug Williams is because he beat John Elway. You know, Eric Allen, Eagles. You know, it is what it is. Champ Bailey, yeah, Champ Bailey, Darryl Green, and Sean Taylor. Those are my three Washington guys that I would say. The world's worst Washington guy for me was Moss, the Washington Moss. What's his first name? What was his first name? I mean, he killed us. You know, Facebook once again. I'm using the word casually. I'm not saying that he literally killed us, but that was the only guy, Santana Moss. I still wake up and sometimes be like, God, dog, how he was able to do that against us. I can't stand Santana. He's probably one of my most hated Washington guy. Yeah, he was a cheat code. Yeah. All right, so let's go. Oh my gosh, Darryl Green ran a 4.40. Actually, I don't know what he ran, but it seems as if though he was a 4.29, 4.3 guy. Yeah, Peter Warwick was too shifty. Yeah. Let's listen to these fools over here, man.
All right, let's get into this Dak Prescott Cowboys topic. Since entering the NFL, Dak leads all quarterbacks in games with 400 or more passing yards. Dallas, 31-3 when Dak posts a passer rating of at least 100. Plus, Dak leads the NFL in passer rating last season when on the move. Shannon, do these stats tell you that Dak Prescott is being underrated right now?
No.
All right, that dude didn't get a chance. Let me reread. Let me re-listen to this. What they talking about? Will Stanford, I could tell that he's an older gentleman, right? Oh, I got London Fletcher. He's another guy that I did like this when he retired. I was like, yeah, and what he was 5 foot nothing. Don't come back, London. Yeah, Fletcher, that dude. Don't come back, baby. All right, so I can tell Will Stanford he's an old school guy. Theismann, Riggins, Taylor, Manley, Ayrton's are the Skins' most hated. Oh, Ayrton, most hated. Ayrton and Moss, those are most hated. Ayrton is because he knocked out one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time to put on a Cowboys uniform. He knocked him out of the game. Right? He literally knocked him out of the game. He concussed him, and I don't think Detroit ever been the same ever since then. So yeah, LeVar Arrington. Or was it Was it Spikes or was it Ayrton? I thought it was Ayrton. Fletcher, I think of him more of a Rams guy. Yeah, but shoot, that old man Fletcher, man, he kept that Washington team afloat.
Post a passer rating of at least 100. Plus, Dak leads the NFL in passer rating last season when on the move. Shannon, do these stats tell you that Dak Prescott is being underrated right now?
No. My eyes tell me that Dak is a middle-of-the-pack quarterback. I think you're going to agree with me on a lot of this stuff, Skip, that Dak did not look like a top-tier quarterback for the lion's share of the season. Yeah, he had some good game. You look at what he did against Tampa. You look at that great game that he had against an overtime against the New England Patriots.
Dak benefited from playing in a bad division. Skip, he went 6-0 in the NFC East, 17 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Against everyone else, he was 5-6, 21 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. And we saw what happened in the postseason. And we've seen this far too many times. Even you talked about how they got off to the great start and how they fizzled down the stretch. 2 years ago, it was the exact same thing. And so for what I've seen now, Dak is entering into his 6th season. We should already know, okay, Dak is up here. Dak is here. This is where he is, Skip. We know what he is now. I get all these 400-yard games, Skip, but here in 2020, he threw for 400 yards against Cleveland. They were down 27. At no point in time did this game, it got close, but then Odell hit that reverse on them, took them out of there. They were down 20. They did come back and win against Atlanta. Threw for 400 in that game. Threw for 400 against Seattle, but they were down 15. What we're seeing here is that when the games are close, Dak does absolutely nothing. Now, all of a sudden, these teams race out to these big leads. They play defense differently, and then Dak gets going, and he throws for 400 yards. A lot of times they lose, but they're like, man, did you see that performance? Yeah. They were behind because when they needed Dak to be great early, so they didn't get behind, he was not. So
let me ask y'all this, though. And I'm speaking only from the realms of objectivity. And what we got to do is say to ourselves, okay, cool. If you want to use the garbage time stats for that reason and logically speaking, I'm asking you guys truthfully, and I need to hear this from the hater's mouth and from the true Cowboy fans' mouth. How come other teams do not show the same results of what Dak Prescott do when these events occur? Like, how come when we look at other teams, like there should be another just below average quarterback doing the exact same thing of throwing 400 yards and getting multiple touchdowns when their team get down or behind, right? Or when it's a situation and scenario that when it's time to squeeze out more and more opportunities for yards, how come we don't see this phenomenal event from other quarterbacks? How come only Dak, somebody put Prescott, how come only we see this with Dak Prescott and no other quarterback? I just need to know, can somebody answer me that? Can somebody pull up, just hit me up on Twitter? Matter of fact, to the first person that can pull up some analysis, I'm going to Cash App you $25. Hit me up on Twitter. And for the first person, I don't have money to Cash App all of y'all that's watching. But I'm literally going to give you a $25 certificate if you can present to me other quarterbacks that have the exact same numbers and when behind, when garbage time, and you can do that analysis, make it on a beautiful spread, and then we're gonna go over this line by line, precept upon precept, and we're gonna talk about this because it's kind of strange that Dak Prescott is the only quarterback to do that. Dak Prescott, I do like that one, Leon. Yo, long money, long. No. You know, I just want to be able to settle this. They don't exist. They don't exist. Kirk Cousins does not. But here's the thing. For 13 years, let me ask you guys this. For 13 years, there's another quarterback that have gaudy numbers, beat the mess out of Chicago Bears, beat the mess out of the Detroit Lions, and the Vikings. You can talk about them if you want to say that. And for 13 years, that quarterback, who is the greatest quarterback, one can argue, in that time span, have not made it to the Super Bowl. And he pad the stats, but he get overlooked because he got that ring. And he couldn't beat the same team that we couldn't beat in the playoffs. He threw a lower QBR than we did. as a quarterback. And I'm just trying to present this. I don't know if Dak Prescott been playing for 13 years. Y'all let me know. Can you educate me? Have he been playing for 13 years? But for sure, I know for sure that quarterback been playing for 13 years. And he haven't made it to the promised land since that time frame. Now, granted, he do have a ring. He do have a ring. So you mean to tell me if somehow Dak Prescott can find a way to get him a ring, would he be considered similar to that other quarterback? That's all I'm saying.
I don't look at these stats and say, well, damn, man, I've been underrating Dak. I have not been underrating Dak. Dak is an average quarterback. That's what he is, Skip. He's a middle-of-the-pack quarterback. And I don't know if you're going to ever reap the benefits of what you paid for. You helped pay for this contract.
No, you did.
He did. Skip didn't help pay for this. Shay Sharp, nigga, he'll bang it on the table. He'll bang it on the table. Pay Dak.
Campaigned for him to get his money. Pay the man, said Shannon Sharp.
They needed to pay the man.
Pay the man $75 million for 1 year. Thank you. Okay, after I read all these stats, the totality of them hit me so hard that I started to think maybe he's a little better than I'm thinking that he is. And I started to renew a little bit of hope. Because the stat that got me is that on the move last year, he led the league in passer rating. On the move.
Shout out to you, James. You the first one on my Twitter. Let me see, James. Let me see. I'm going to go to my Twitter. And I'm going to go to my mentions because I know you got to at me, man. You got to at me. Somebody done put Carson Wentz up there. Let me see if I can refresh. I'm for real, man. I'm going to cash app you, man. You didn't say at me on Twitter with those stats, man. I need you, James. Go to my Twitter handle, man, and just at me with all of that. Whoever be the first one. Whoever be the first one. I'm going to copy this right here. This is my Twitter. And I need you guys to come through in the clutch for me, man, because I really don't want to do that research. I'm going to let you guys do the research. That's my Twitter. That's my Twitter handle right there. James Buchanan, hit me up on Twitter.
Move.
Yeah.
And outside the numbers, on throws outside the numbers, he led the league in passer rating. Well, I'm not sure how that translated into the one-loss record because in the end, they lost. Well, they went 6-5 in their last 11 games,
right,
including the playoff loss at home to San Francisco.
Right.
Okay. But in the big picture, he has the most 400-yard-plus passing games since he entered the league.
Right.
He's got 9 of them.
Right.
But also, to your point, the biggest one is 502 in a game against Cleveland at Jerry World. This is Baker Mayfield we're talking about, that they trailed 41-14 after 3 quarters.
Right.
Well, now empty calories are going to happen, and they did.
Right.
Huge empty enough to make you obese, right? And then remember the Dallas game at Seattle. It was actually the game before that Baker Mayfield game. And it comes right down to the wire. He ends up throwing for 472, but on the 3rd and long at the end of the game with 14 seconds left, he throws into the end zone to the wrong team. And it gets picked off. And what did Jerry Jones suggest on his radio show 2 days later?
Russell Wilson makes that play.
And he also said Mahomes make that play. And he also went so far as to say Tony Romo makes that play.
He did.
I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Russell Wilson should be in the Super Bowl. Russell Wilson should be in the Super Bowl. It should be the Denver Broncos versus, let's see, since everybody talking about the Eagles, it should be the Denver Broncos and the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Those should be the 2 teams because that's what everybody's talking about right now, right? Denver Broncos there should be 0 excuses. There should be zero excuses for Russell Wilson. Even though is Jerry Jeudy, is he out of jail? Is he gonna play? Is Jerry Jeudy gonna play? Because I don't see them talking about Jerry Jeudy. Let me see. Make sure. Jerry Jeudy. Let me see. He spelled it. Okay, Jeudy. I can't spell today. Here we go. UDY. I'm going to just type TMZ because I know they got it. Jerry Jeudy, Broncos star arrested after alleged incident with mother of child. Shout out to him. Roll Tide or what have you. Jerry Jeudy. And we hope all is well with him. I don't think that these networks talking about it, but I can only imagine if he had a star on the side of his helmet. But if he's playing this year, they should go straight to the Super Bowl. Yeah. They should go straight to the Super Bowl. I don't know if he's playing. Is Jerry Jeudy playing? He's out on bond. He's back on the field. Okay. And there will be no extended investigation, none of that stuff, right? So if Jerry Jeudy, Alvin Kamara was arrested for an assault during the Pro Bowl weekend, but nobody's talking about it. Yep. Denver is 0-3 versus the NFC East. Buffalo is 0-4 in the Super Bowl, but he don't get suspended. Okay.
Say that.
Because if you can escape and throw it on the run, Dak escaped a little bit, but then he threw it quickly and it went to the wrong jersey.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Then the third one is the Green Bay game at home, the Aaron Rodgers game at Jerry World back in 2019. They trailed that game 24-0 mid-third quarter.
Right.
24-0? You're kidding.
Right.
Empty calories ensued, and he gets all the way to 463.
But you know what? All of those games have something in common. And I wonder what it looked like now if we had a level of defenses. You sent me it via the DM. I appreciate you, James. I'm going to check it out.
3. Okay, then Philly. I'm going to give you the Philly game because it was the Amari breakout game in 2019 because it was at home in overtime.
Right.
He throws for 455. Well, it was sensational because it catapulted them to a division title and a home playoff win, his only one, over Russell Wilson in Seattle. Okay, so that's a good big one, right? And then here we go against the Atlanta home game.
Right.
It's 450 yards. You're so far down that
they were down 39-20 at one point, right?
It's 39-24 with 5 minutes left in the game. 39-24 at home?
Right.
You're kidding. It took the watermelon onside kick to make a miracle. It took a miracle finish for you. You should have lost that game to what became the worst pass defense in the history of pro football.
Correct.
Well, I shouldn't even be on the list. You should disqualify that game right there, right? Okay, now we get to another good game because the best game for Dak last year was he went to Belichick and he beat him.
Yes.
It took overtime.
Yes.
But if we could show what happened at the end of the game.
Because he had 71 yards in overtime to put him over 400.
This is the throw of the year for Dak Prescott to my guy CeeDee Lamb. Unfortunately, at the end of the game, he pulls up lane. But that ended the game. CeeDee's grandstanding out there with the ball.
Yep.
But, okay, that's, what is it, 445 yards. 445 against Belichick. Okay, that's a $75 million game, right? Okay, I'll give you that one because it felt like it was about to catapult you to greatness because it got you to 6-1, then they went all the way to 7-1, and then you know what the rest of the story was.
Well, Skip,
you fell off the table.
Don't you need a 300 game against the 49ers? You saw that what he did against the 49ers, Skip. They scored 17 points.
Well, it was just horrendous. You mean the playoff?
Yes.
Yeah.
23 or 43.
Okay, I'm going to finish this list because there's one at Detroit. The
Go
Cowboy
get to
fans will remember because I do. It's 2019. He threw for 444. He's playing against Jeff Driscoll. That's the starting quarterback on the other side. Well, how can it's disqualified? Take it off the list. Then remember the New York Giants game that started 2019. It was the fireworks display of the first 3 games. It was the night Jerry said it's imminent that we get our deal done because he.
All right, so. James Buchanan, you did send me a quarterback. You sent me Kirk Cousins as that quarterback. I would raise you $25 more. So there'll be a cash app of $50. If you can find me a below average on a consistent basis quarterback because they're saying that literally Dak Prescott is average and below that can put up those type of numbers. So find me another quarterback outside of Kirk Cousins, because I get it, right? Everybody going to say that Dak Prescott is the black Kirk Cousins, who pretty much, if you can contextualize it, before Kirk Cousins, if you really say to yourself and look at everything from A to Z, Stafford held that position. There's really, if you pick up Kirk Cousins and you put him on the LA Rams, I'm quite sure that all of a sudden now Kirk Cousins got him a Super Bowl ring. That's not something that far and apart of what Kirk Cousins did or what Matthew Stafford did, which is different. So let me raise you. You can get $50. I'm gonna cash app you if you can find multiple situations of that. But let's listen to more what they had to say.
Thrown for 405 against a Giants team that was on its way to going 4-12.
Right.
And you said garbage.
Yes,
You said the first three were garbage opponents. And you were right. Washington and Miami, they're just garbage opponents. And then here we go into contractual impasse.
Right.
And then the final game on the list at 403 was opening Thursday night.
Right.
At GOAT. I thought it was great because I had no expectations of Dak at that point.
Actually, Skip, even though they lost, I think that was probably one of the 2 or 3 best games of all the games that was on that list.
I might put it number one. No, seriously, because you're against the defending champs in their place. And again, you were correct about this. You said that defense, you brought everybody back, but it just won't have the same edge that it had the year before. And it didn't have the same edge. And he kind of exposed it in
early
week
on.
one.
Yep.
But they lost.
Yep.
Because they often lose. So what do I have to show? He is 1-3 in playoff games.
Right.
Well, it's
Yep. So 1-3 in playoff games. The phone lines is open, Cowboy Nation, and the phone line is 657-390-7391. That's the contact line. That's the hotline for your mind. All right, and we have people that have been patiently waiting in the chat. All right, so 206, you're live. MJ, turn your radio down. Turn your radio down. What's good?
What up, brother?
Nothing much, man. Talk to me, fam. Talk to me.
Oh, man, you got a good show today. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's all kind of squeeze it together, man. Talk to me, man.
This is good. Dak Prescott, Diggs, we sorry. You got everything to say.
Yeah.
Hey, Law. I love when we win because they say we sorry. So I love it.
Yeah.
They rid of 3 or 4 bombs. All our players are bombs now. Diggs can't play. CeeDee Lamb can't catch. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. The quarterback sucks.
Talk to me.
Now, the first point, I'm going to give everybody some homework on this. Trevon Diggs only been playing cornerback for really 2.5 years.
Right.
Really going his 3rd year. And he get better and better every year.
Right.
Now, if y'all heard all this Cowboys fans, Diggs said he got to practice on being more consistent in giving up big plays and studying more, being more physical on the line. He's going to do that because he practiced with his brother. So that's going to be a check mark. His number's going to go down. And if you take 2 of them players away from our safety last year, he probably would have only had 700 yards instead of 800 or 900. Because safety missed it. If I'd have been playing safety, that would have been interception. It was an easy interception. And Diggs thought the guy was going to get the interception, and the guy got the interception. Point 2, CeeDee Lamb is going to kill them this year. Because he already know that he know them corners can't check him. He love when corners start to check him one-on-one. They said everybody keep thinking because Cooper gone, or he had to eat. No, they was shattering that field for CeeDee Lamb because they know he can make a big play on him. And I'm gonna tell y'all.
Talk to me. Talk to me, man.
The receiver we got, fans, the Cowboy fans, you got to go watch the film of October. When he gets the ball, break away, and he run from people. I'm going to tell y'all right now, that dude going to have over 1,200, 1,300 yards receiving. He's going to have a year like the Minister Jefferson. Toller going to have a year like Jefferson. I'm telling y'all right now. I know my football.
Right.
Because they're going to have 2s on them, they're going to have 3s on them, and he's going to be killing it.
Mm-hmm.
And Washington is going to have a good year. But Tolbert, CeeDee Lamb, they're going to have a good year. 3, Dak Prescott going to finally be safe in that pocket because our center know he got competition. He practicing with Duke. He was 318 last year. He's going to be stronger. He's going to be more technique-wise. And our guard is going to be powerful, killing people. Because I like to watch the film again of Philly. I went back and watched the Philly game.
Right.
The third game. And, man, they was killing Connor Williams. They was sometimes he a block, and, man, they was getting through that, making the center play bad. And then if that guard play bad, it's going to make the center play bad. I don't care what y'all saying. I don't care what you saying. He was getting overpowered. The dude just bull rushed number 91, 93, 97. They was killing. They said, go with Connor Williams. They ain't going to be able to do that this year, y'all.
No doubt.
Finally.
So with all of that being said, man, it's May right now. We got 4 months and a couple of weeks or what have you before we can see the Eagles. So I can't wait to see it, man. And physicality will be the thing that we really need to see. We really need to see it, and I think that's going to get us over the hump, MJ. But let them know, man. Let them know, man, where you from, and give a shout-out to the Cowboys before I let you go.
All right, guys. I'm originally from East St. Louis. East Boogie, they call it the East Boogie, but I live in Los Angeles, California. A member of Kappa Alpha Psi and a member of the Most High, Israelite.
Israelite.
That body. Precept on precept, baby. Keeping the law.
No doubt, man. That's what I'm talking about, man.
Hey, you got to get my crybaby stop.
No doubt, man. Got doggone
and
Pimper.
And the commish.
Yeah, the Pimper die. Good.
Play that. The law.
Oh, I got you, man. I got you, man.
Play the Italian song. You know, the gangster.
I'm gonna have to find it in my new reel, but I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, bro. I got you, man.
For rain, you got to deal with the mud too.
All right, man. Salute, bro. MJ. All right. So shout out to MJ, man. Pimp or die, man. That's gonna be your new name on here, man. All right, LA with it. Okay, let's pull in the 970. What do you know?
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're gonna go. They might go undefeated this year.
Okay.
I like that when Michael Parsons was talking to Michael Irvin.
Yeah.
I know you really liked it too.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. He said we're not going to lose another playoff game like that again. He pretty much guaranteed it, didn't he?
He did. He pretty much, man. He spoke with his chest.
He said it hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But he said that ain't going to happen again. That's what I heard him say.
No doubt.
I really do believe, Law, if we win these first 2 games, look out. But I didn't like that when he said about Cooper, they're really going to – I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to see, though. I kind of agreed with you. It was kind of a shocker what he said about, Cooper.
Yeah,
that kind of threw me off, too.
Yeah.
But I just hope – I got a feeling we're going to beat Tampa.
I have a feeling, too. Yeah, I think revenge is the sweetest joy.
We might get up so much for that, we might end up, being beat by Cincinnati. But if we can win them first 2 games, look out.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your thoughts on this year coming up? I mean, what are you kind of thinking?
Well, this is what I was thinking right here. I was really thinking that the Cowboys have changed the mindset. They're going to get back to physicality, and that mentality is what they're going to bring to the table. And I can't wait. But it's May right now. We got 4 more months. I got to wait to see basically how this thing is going to unfold as far as the training camps or what have you. And I really can't wait. I really can't wait to see how the growth aspect of this team will look like down the stretch. And I can't wait to see that. That's the only thing that we have to sit back on and just wait to see whether or not the physicality part is going to be.
Did anything change after you heard Michael Parsons have that interview? Did it change your perspective of the team a little bit?
No, my perspective is that Parsons and he understands. He know that he got to step up.
But what he said about the receiving and stuff, that kind of threw me off my game a little bit too,
Yeah, it's one of those things. It kind of threw me off. But we have to find out.
God, our team, we're gonna find out. Absolutely, you're right.
Yeah.
A lot of people got to remember our backs were beat up towards the end of last year too.
They were.
If we'd have been a little bit more healthier, I think we would have beat San Francisco.
If we had a
partner.
Yeah, man. If we had a legitimate game plan, I think that we would have had at least a little stronger chance against those.
I don't know if
we
went to LA, they might have. That just it just made LA was just. You got to have some dogs.
No doubt. No doubt.
You got to want it. You got to want it bad. But hey, I just thought I'd call in, but I did. I enjoyed listening to that interview.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you.
Kicker too. What he said about about being great and stuff. He got me too.
No doubt. Appreciate you, man, so much, man. I gotta let you go. But I appreciate you, man.
All right, go Cowboys.
Yeah, go Cowboys. All right, man. All right, let me get focused in this thing. I got some texts coming in on my end. All right, so I got Coach, man. Coach Jones, man, you live.
What up, Coach? How you doing there?
Nah, man, it's all good. I'm all good. I can't complain.
Hey, man, I love it when Skip Bayless should change his stripes because he sways with the wind, especially since he's in L.A. Never get no rain, but he definitely, every week I'm on Dallas, I'm off Dallas, so never look for him to defend anything about Dallas.
Right.
He didn't even like Troy Aikman when he was playing. He thought he was a normal guy.
Right.
He's just an average quarterback.
No doubt.
And as far as that, we constantly talk about garbage time. There's no garbage time if you come back and win.
Right.
Was that garbage time for the other team to let you back in the game? I've never known a coach wanting to give up yards or give up a touchdown at the end of the game. I've never experienced that. As a player, coach, all I want to do is beat you and keep my hand on your throat and make you never want to play me again.
Right.
So you're saying that these teams are just rolling over, let Dak throw for 400. No, hell no. That's in your contract, too.
Right.
To keep him out of the end zone. So it's kind of – and somebody should ask Mr. Shannon Sharp. So when you pop that late touchdown and you got that extra bonus, did they take it back and say it was garbage time? Hell no.
No, indeed.
No, indeed. You say MJ, like LeBron James, is breaking all these records. So is it garbage time because they were losing this year? No, nobody's going to remember that.
Nobody.
You only remember the W's.
Tangible.
If you lose, you hate to lose.
Tangible things, man. It goes back to the interception. You coached the game, and it's hard pressed to say, okay, 11 interceptions, that's average, or that's what anybody can do, right? That's the new guy.
My comment to you the other day, are you in Colorado? That means you must be high because 11 is a number you just don't see.
Right.
You get to 10, that's a number you don't see. But 11, He only played 17 games. This dude is changing the way they were throwing at him. Yeah, against Denver, yeah, that was a bad game. No doubt about it. But KZ was not a very good over-the-top safety. I mean, look how wide open the dude is. The ball is floating in the air. KZ should have broke on it.
Yeah.
He just stood back there and didn't take a bad angle.
Yeah.
So, the other thing I will say, with the dog that you got on the O-line this year, I feel much better. Especially with our right side. I didn't feel that good last year going with Collins. I thought he was going to do what he normally do.
Right.
Get suspended, get hurt, and come up lame. Now I think we got a replacement. Whether Smith plays at left guard or right tackle, he's going to get some playing time. He's going to improve.
Yeah.
Now, can we keep our tailbacks healthy? That's the question.
I think, Coach. I think, Coach, is that is the solution. You got to run the ball, and far as those who say, well, garbage time is prevent defense. Prevent defense keep you from throwing those deep passes or throwing those longer passes. They'll be all underneath. And Dak Prescott, in majority of those games, he was throwing the ball over the top of the defense. When I look and review the tape of Dak Prescott versus most of those games that we lost, like the 49ers, they played 6 and 7. They played 6 DBs. They played that quarters defense, whereas gave Dak Prescott fits, and that quarters defense also gave multiple quarterbacks fits, like not Tom Brady, but Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes. The reason why playing quarters defense never affect Tom is because he plays a West Coast style, and they kill people with those underneath drags or what have you. It's not just a dump off pass; it's a drag in motion. But go ahead, Coach.
I also feel like this year, if one thing we need to improve on is at the beginning of the game, we can't have the damn dropsies.
Right.
At the beginning of the games that we lost last year, start with Tampa. Our wide receivers dropped the ball instead of catching it. He is our number one wideout this year. He can't come out dropping. He's got to stay focused at the beginning. And that's going to make a difference. But I also think that we're going to be a much more physical team, and that's going to start with the O-line getting punching people. I know everybody's all sad that Randy left, but I'm not.
Right.
I thought that if you'd have signed him and paid him $20 million, you'd be overpaying. He never played a whole season. I know his dad listened to your show. I give mad love, but he never played a whole season.
And the reason why his dad, when I spoke to his dad, I mean, he's an advocate listener to the show. And he was saying, well, at least you're fair and balanced, Law. And his voice literally sounds like James Earl, the guy that played on.
I know you're talking about everything.
The roots and everything. Yeah, my son works. He got that real deep voice, real like he's bigger than Randy.
Like he's from Mississippi.
He got that real deep voice.
Got the mud on him, huh?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
But he said, at least you fair with your assessment of my son. And I said, yeah, I try to be.
His son is a good player, but there's times in the game you don't notice him.
True.
I mean, so you got to be honest. I didn't think he was worth $14 million. I thought they were reaching to do that deal, and I was thankful he turned it down because you ended up getting Flowers. Doris Armstrong only has one less sack than Randy and played 1/3 of the time.
Yeah, Coach, you're right.
What does that tell you? And he also plays backer, which on passing down, he plays, he don't always put his hand in the ground. He's dropping back, getting in flats, doing things that Randy couldn't do.
No doubt.
Now, don't get it twisted. Randy's a bad boy.
We
cannot depend on Randy for 17 games.
No doubt.
You name the season that he played all 17, and I'll cash out you $25. I don't think he did.
No. But I appreciate you, Coach, so much, man, for calling in and being part of this community, man. I really appreciate you, Coach.
By the way, my boy Wilson,
Mm-hmm.
look out. He going to make the practice squad or be their third-string quarterback. That dude got some legs, man.
So from Kentucky.
Kentucky, dude, he can crank it. He shouldn't have transferred from Kentucky, but when you get another year to play, dude, he can really, when he gets to that corner, look out. He can run.
Yeah, he can fly, and the thing is, he had Wan'Dale Robinson as the wide receiver. Yeah. If he were to play, of course, he couldn't play back-to-back on the senior. He had to transfer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to transfer to that rule. Yeah.
He is a dude that if he makes the squad, he might end up making it playing 3 different spots. All of a sudden, you'll see him out there on a special teams or something of that nature. He has that talent. Mm-hmm. He's that type of kid.
Well, we'll find out.
You have a beautiful day. I love your show, man. You and Boss Cowboy, y'all keep me laughing. And, of course, Big Game James, he's so personal about it. Yeah. He gets so damn mad so quick. I just be laughing when y'all get him, man.
That's how he is in real life, man. When you see him in person, man, he's a fiery dude. But people got to understand he mean well, And,
but I love it, man. If you don't have no passion in what you do, then you either born with a silver spoon or you're gonna get kicked.
Most certainly, Coach. You're right on the money with that one. Appreciate you.
Later, thank you. Bye-bye.
No, man, that's a good call from Coach, man. Big Game James, man, he's very passionate about this team, man. He is, and he wants what's best for this team, and it hurts. It hurts when your team is not performing to where where they can perform, and that's the problem of this team and organization. Like we know, and I seen somebody put down, and shout out to Eastside Harold. Appreciate you buying and selling dreams. Let me see, Eastside. Let me pull up your avatar. Let me make sure. I gotta make sure, dog. Eastside. You got to change it, man. You got to change it to Davis Mills, Brandon Cooks right now. You got to change it. Deshaun Watson is no longer a Texan. So you got to change it, fam. But I appreciate you for your donations. So you selling dreams. Eastside, you selling dreams, man. You got to change that. You got to change it, all right? Do me a favor, just change it, man. Change it to, your general manager or your head coach or somebody. 615, you're live.
What's up, brother? This is Colby from Tennessee.
Tennessee, man. What's good with you, man? Talk to me.
Not much, man. Just working, listening to your show. I try to catch it every time I can.
I appreciate it.
I think the last guy, I think it was the last gentleman on here. It might have been before him, but he was talking about drops. Mm-hmm. And, everybody always talking about Dak, in garbage time and, not being able to come up clutch in the big plays and the big games.
Right.
And, that's always been my biggest argument. I believe blue and silver, and I'm just like Boss with being very emotional about my Cowboys. I can't help it. I just am the way I am. I love my team, but these boys out here catching balls, man, they gotta get some stickier fingers because a lot of these big games come down to a lot of those drop passes. Right. That 3rd and 9, 3rd and 11 CD or somebody. Catch a 25-yard pass and then, boom, hits the ground, we're punting. Even in goal line situations where we're kicking field goals, taking 3 points instead of 6, 7, 8 on occasion.
Right.
But it's like this year going forward, especially on offense, we've got to get these receivers in, just the rhythm of catching all these passes because that, in my opinion, has been one of the biggest problems with offense.
Right.
I love Dak Prescott to death. That man, outside of getting injured, I don't think there's been a bad play that came out of a game that he's been in my opinion. As far as garbage time, I heard the name Rodgers pop up.
Right.
I agree. Outside of Go Pack Go with Lil Weezy, he ain't had nothing special. He's been a seasonal MVP.
Right.
But, we all know as NFL fans, the season games don't really matter. It's all about the end. It's all about making it to the Super Bowl. And, as far as defense, I expect Diggs to have a bigger year, a lot less yards for the receivers against him. I think he's been working on that, and I think he'll continue to work on it. And, like the other gentleman said, Tolbert, I'm definitely looking forward to watching him play because, I watched a couple of his interviews during the training camp, and
right.
The kid seems like he's excited and blessed for the opportunity, and I really think he's going to come out and ball. I really do, and I'm excited, and I'm hoping that Gallup can stay healthy because he is a playmaker and a game changer. It's just, man, getting hurt that sucks because it's not every game, but almost every game Gallup was in. You go back and rewatch the game, I guarantee you he had one or two big plays that made a difference in those games.
No doubt.
It happens, man, and it sucks, but like you said, we got 4 more months.
4 more. It's long. It's a long stretch, man. So anyone say right now, they're right. There's no way to refute it, right? It's like there's no way they can refute what they can say right now. They can say right now that their team is the best team since sliced bread, and you will never find out until September. And you really don't know until after September.
Yeah, I mean, hey, the Eagles getting A.J. Brown, I mean, hey, more power to them, man. That's awesome. I wish to God the Cowboys could have got him. But at the same time, I got more faith in Dak than I do Jalen. I mean, it's cool and all, but if you are all good for taking air balls, go for it, man, because he ain't gonna hit that boy with nothing the entire year. There's no way that they beat us this year. We're gonna break this little cycle of non-back-to-back NFC East champs, and we're definitely taking that title this year. I'll make that argument right here, right now, and they can come back and replay it when we do.
Well, I was definitely trying to find this episode when we do it. Appreciate you so much, man, from the 615. I appreciate
Absolutely.
you. That's a good call from him. All right, so next we have we got 2 people waiting, so we're going to get these 2 callers out. The next person that is here from Los Angeles, 323. You're live. To live and die in L.A. Hello. Hello. To live and die in L.A. It's the place to be. All right, 757, you live.
What's going on with you, Law? This CG from the 757 VA stand up. How you doing?
Man, all day, man. I'm doing great, man. Talk to me, man.
Yes, sir. So, got a couple of points, and I'll get out your way, right?
Right.
Been listening, and I understand how everybody want to say, well, A-Rod is a garbage time stat king as well, right? But the truth of the matter is, A-Rod has showed he had the ability to win games. And not just to come out victorious, but to be a very important piece for them winning those games. I think one of the reasons why people call Dak a stat king in those type of situations because he's yet to win one that they deem important. And as a Cowboy quarterback, there's only one that they really gonna hold over our head, and that's a Super Bowl victory, right? And then on top of that, how many of those important games was he one of the only things that we could lean on? To me, Dak is at his best when everything around him is better.
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Are you aware of the Mandela effect?
Definitely.
Definitely. That is what's going on with, and a lot of people, and I can tell you're a cerebral person. You're very smart. A lot of people don't know what the Mandela effect is, and that's the problem. You see, you said could win games when it's important. Aaron Rodgers couldn't win games. Did you know that he threw an 18 QBR against the 49ers?
The 49ers in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, right? Didn't you know that the Green Bay Packers were the third-ranked defense in the National Football League? So to that degree, they had Aaron Jones, who can run the rock. They had the best wide receiver in the National Football League. Can you name me 2 or 3 wide receivers better than Devontae Adams? You can't.
Not at all.
Not at all.
And I get where you
right. But the problem is that first take, third take, and all of these takes and any take would never talk about they would never talk about the Green Bay. I believe even if he didn't ever won a Super Bowl ring, that they would never talk about it. Just like juxtaposed to what's Matthew Stafford. It'd been 13 years. It took him 13 years to get to where he's at now, right? He ultimately won a Super Bowl, right? But who are they still talking about? They still talking about the Dallas Cowboys. If I was an alien from a different planet, landed here in these United States and turned on all of these social medias and turned on the National Football League's reviews, you would think that, man, that Cowboys team just lost the Super Bowl. They're not talking about Cincinnati. They're not talking about right now the Rams. Can they repeat? Can they repeat Super Bowl champ? But I kid you not. I kid you not. If it had been in a weird world that if you replaced, and I know you can't do this, but if the Dallas Cowboys was in that Super Bowl and they ultimately lose it, you think that that's what they're going to be talking about? See, in the biggest of the brightest stage, Dak Prescott can't win it, even if it was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're going to, until we win, they're going to talk about it. But we can't, as Cowboy fans, we have to understand the business behind it all. We have the biggest fan base, the most loyal fan base, the most, looked at as crazy and asinine fan base. So as long as we talk to them, we keep the hype machine going. We're going to always talk about them because we know that nobody looks at the Cowboys and say, I don't care. It's either, I love them or I absolutely hate them. So we're going to always be talked about. We're going to always have that fight of our quarterbacks are going to be held to a higher standard because we're the Cowboys and we're in the media all day, and they keep us there because of, he just said it's worth $10 billion to him and that he'll never sell it. So that's money in itself. So that's always going to be the conversation when it comes to the Cowboys. We got to accept it and live up to it and hold ourselves to an even higher standard than what they do.
Yeah, but that's just the reality of it.
Now, you're right. You're
that's
right.
just the reality of it, Go ahead.
Now, my second question for you, right? Mm-hmm. Is when I look at the off season and when I look at drafting period, I feel like you can't really judge a draft until you 2.5, 3 years removed from when the draft actually took place.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get hyped. It's easy to get excited because we can make these projections, right, off of potential, and we can hope that people will live up to where we think they should in our system, right? And we can do that with free agency as well. Now, I feel like our offseason has been up to par with everyone else's. When you put in the draft and you look at some of the people that we couldn't re-sign even though they wanted to. So, like, that's a blessing in disguise. And I feel like we are being talked about in free agency, whether it's our fan base or other fan bases, basically just trying to have good football conversation, but it's not really meaningful until we get to see how it all lays out and plays out. But if we look at it, we still should be head and above waters to everybody in our division.
I mean, yeah. Here's the thing. The draft and the free agency supposed to help aid where you are lacking at, right? So the Cowboys looked at this and said, okay, and I get it, you don't expect to be 12-5 every year, but coaches do expect a certain pedigree from what they can do to help elevate said players. So I look at it like, yes, we were 12-5, but you got to understand, let Coach Quinn continue to do his system and implementing what he does best and coaching up these guys. And like you said, it takes 2 to 3 years to grade a player. Well, last year was Quinn's first year with these players. I can only imagine his second year within the confines of coaching these guys up that you would see a even more of a growth aspect. While as other teams are parading around saying, yay, look what we done did, but it's going to take a time for those guys to grab hold on what the coaching philosophy is for their said teams. So it's a long process, and hopefully, man, when the season kick off, we'll be ready to see it.
Yes, sir. We should be 12-5 again this year, and I give us at least 2 playoff victories, and I put that on Ezekiel.
All right, let's go, man. I appreciate you, man. What's your name, fam?
Hey, again, it's CG.
CG, man. Let me save it under here, man, as that. But I appreciate you for calling in, fam.
Yes, sir. Let's go, Cowboys.
Let's go all day. Yeah, that's a good call.
Don't.
Got him saved in there. Are we going to try this 3-2-3 once again? 3-2-3 once again. All right.
Hello?
Yeah, you live. I'm about to hang it up. You live, man. What's good?
Hey, much respect, Lord. Love your show, man.
Appreciate
Love
you, man.
what you guys talk about, man. Much respect. Do a good job, man. Listen to you all the time, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Man, my thing is, it seems like every year, with the Cowboys, we talk about free agency and what we need, what we don't seem to get.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna keep this short and sweet with you, man.
No doubt.
I think. Do you believe that, as of right now, if we don't get Dak Prescott what he needs as a team,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every year we seem to be missing something. Is it on special teams? Is it on the defensive line? Like it's always something that's just missing, that missing piece. Do you think they'll be able to re-sign back to that second contract that I think he held out for? I think he held out for a second contract, more or less, than this one contract he just received. Do you think we'll be able to re-sign him, man, in the next, before you know it, those 2 more years will be up, and we've been talking about what's the next contract for that?
Well, here's how money complicates everything, right? You start counting the money, and then you start looking at the money, and then you have your expectations set around the money, right? And you got to look at the complete picture, not part of the picture. And I know it's hard to see the picture when you are in the frame. This is the thing. Was this Dak's first year under that contract, or was this his third year?
This is going to be his second year, isn't it?
It's going into his second year. So
yes.
Did he, according to pundits, and I'm going to put you in this, I'm not going to use the pundits, did he live up to his expectations of his contract?
Well, in my view, I believe he did. I wasn't a big Dak supporter at first. I must admit that. Been a Cowboy fan since '72. Love the Dallas Cowboys. But at the same time, it seems like I put Dak like with LeBron. It seems like the more hate Dak receives, the more and more I seem to go to his side.
Right.
But I think Dak is being held to not his season, because I think Dak had a good season overall, considering what he came from. But being a Dallas Cowboy quarterback, he's going to be held to standards that no other Dallas quarterback has done in 25 seasons. So they're all going to say he had a terrible season because he lost to the 49ers.
Right.
But, I think he had a pretty good season.
But nobody contextualizes it like that. If I poll everybody right now, did Dak Prescott live up to the expectations of his contract? A third of the people would say no. And they would use comparisons, and they would say, well, he's supposed to have a Super Bowl with this team because he's Dak Prescott, and the money's supposed to elevate his skill play. That's not the case nor the scenario. And on top of that, pretty much, did he achieved his expectations being a 4th-round draft pick for the Dallas Cowboys for those first 3 years. So how do you equate? So my thing is with Dak Prescott, it will always be damn if he do, damn if he don't. But you got to understand the Cowboys' expectation every year is Super Bowl, right? That's the expectation from the Cowboys fan base. But realistically, they should look at this thing and say, all right, cool. Let's just try to build a winning team around said quarterback. Let's try to find ways to get weapons to said quarterback. Let's find ways to build this defense and everything else, because they should do their homework and realize the defense win championships. Not the quarterback just being elite. There are more teams with average or just above average quarterbacks winning these Super Bowls.
Great answer, D. I totally agree with you, because I was one of those people in this past draft saying, okay, since we got rid of Lionel Collins and Coop, which I didn't like neither one. I'm with the masses of Cowboy fans. But at the same time, I was like, well, let's concentrate on the defense then. Let's see if we can get a stronghold there, since we got seemingly a young corner piece. And it seems like we can never put our finger on exactly what direction that we're trying to go into. And that's why I asked the Dak question. Are we going to really waste his years in Dallas, or are we going to really do something to try to help this young man?
They should still continue to do things to help that young man. And just like, Joshua said, his contract eliminated the fact that he was drafted in the 4th round because he's not getting paid like the 4th. But you was considering Dak Prescott before that time frame to be in the the class of a 1st-round graded. Dak Prescott was never perceived to be a 4th-round quarterback, right? His perception never been such. His perception since day one was to be compared against Jared Goff, Derek Carr, Carson Wentz. No one never looked at Dak Prescott to be compared to the other 4th-round quarterbacks that was drafted, the rounds that he was drafted to. So it goes both ways. It's a pretty much a cycling type of thing, or a conundrum, if I can say such, because a lot of people will look at Dak Prescott, and this is not me being an apologist, to look at him heading into this past season as if though he never had a compound fracture injury, that he always played in every game in the training camps or what have you, and didn't have to battle through that mental capacity. But all he did was threw for 37 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, which I can literally say in the history of the Cowboys, no quarterback ever threw for 37 touchdowns with 10 interceptions, to be considered still a horrible year coming off of a compound fracture injury. So when you start putting things in those contexts, that's just crazy. Yeah. That's crazy to say, well, that's average. Meaning that if Dak Prescott walk off from this team, that it don't matter who you put as quarterback, they're gonna throw for 37 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. That's just unrealistic, and get you to the playoffs.
We've seen that already.
Right. Quarterbacks don't do that. But I appreciate you, man, so much for calling in, fam.
Thanks, Doc.
Are you welcome?
Have a good one, brother.
All right, you too, man. But you guys get what I'm saying? It's like you expecting if that's the average quarterback, then it don't matter. You can get rid of Dak Prescott tomorrow, and the next quarterback is gonna pretty much score 37 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, and throw for north of 3,000 yards. That's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Let me see. Dak was playing MVP caliber until the calf injury. Yep, but that's not something geared towards Dak. Dak is no better than an average QB, no more or less than 1 and 3 in the playoffs in 7 years. It's 6 years. But if you want to add the extra year, yes, we can put in the extra year of 7. But I just literally laid out that Aaron Rodgers in the last 13 years have not won multiple playoff games, right? So how do you compute? That is the greatest quarterback I'm gonna put one of the greatest quarterbacks to play the game, right? But he's not given those set of expectations. You are expecting Dak Prescott to do something that Aaron Rodgers can't do. Let that sink in. All right, so next we have the 312. You live. You live.
Brother Law.
Hey, man, what's good with you, brother?
Hello?
Yeah, hello? 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 I'm live. You live.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can't hear me?
Oh, no, man. It's we having a big breeze down here in Rio de Janeiro. It's 70 degrees and people got on parkers, man. It's cold.
Oh, wow.
So, no, I'll be real quick on this, Brother Law. I think people always I think the problem with Dak is they expect, because he's the Cowboys quarterback, to win it every year. And you kind of stated that. But the major problem that Dak has had during his career has been bad coaching. I know people want Aaron Rodgers has had good coaching during his career.
Yeah.
If you look at the 5 quarterbacks, the one thing that differentiates them from Dak Prescott is coaching. I know Kevin Moore's been in the pro, but it's the exact same problem we've had with Tony Romo. It's bad coaching. We do not have good situational coaching in games.
Yeah.
That's why we lost against San Francisco. Mike McCarthy, he grabbed it out of his hat. Kevin Moore doesn't game plan per each defense he plays against. I think we game planned one game last year, and that was the Tampa Bay game. And after that, it's been our talent has always been able to uplift our coaching, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
You give Dak better coaching. Remember when he had Ripkins as his quarterback coach, how he elevated his game? Kid coaching, a solid offensive coordinator understands how to attack a defense. Remember when Mari Cooper told Dak, "Hey man, they on these comebacks, hit me with a go route." In that Eagles game, and then we ended up winning that game. That was the year we went to the house. And what happened? Linehan, Coop didn't disappear. Scott Linehan wrote him off the offensive plan for disobeying his play calling. So you get a kind of coach that knows how to coach and attack a defense, and not this is what we do it all the time. You see Dak. I mean, Dak's been balling out. He's a good quarterback. He's a top 10 quarterback. You can't take that from the kid, you know. But people want, since he's a Dallas Cowboys quarterback, he's supposed to win all the games. He said Aaron Rodgers, he plays, but no one gets on him about that. It's only Dak Prescott. Oh, he can't win one. He can't. Yeah, Dak's got the best record since 2000 against winning teams. He's got the most 400-yard games. So, and stop saying, and people say, "Oh, there's garbage time yards." That's crazy. Any yard in the NFL, there's nothing about it. You get it or you don't. So, blessings everybody in Dallas. Excellent job, man. Great music, and I think the Cowboys are going to be between 12-5 and 13-4. Our schedule, and once again, it depends on how we come out the box. If we come out hot, you know, we get 8 games under our belt. The rest is smooth sailing for us. So have a blessed day, everyone. I'll talk to you soon and listening to the show.
Appreciate you, man. Good conversation there, man. And I know it all boils down to the coaching and the quarterback. Those are the two positions. I want you guys to write this down, that the win-loss record goes to. It's not to the running back nor the wide receiver, right? It goes to the quarterback. Right? I can literally type in how many games Troy Aikman won, right? And it's going to spit me out a record. Or how many games that Jimmy Johnson won. It's going to spit me out a record. But I can't do that for Emmett nor the playmaker. See, the quarterback do, and I've seen someone say heavy is the crown, right? Heavy is the crown, or much given is much expected. So my thing is, yes, but do you only look at the 1-3 playoff record now and say, well, Jimmy Garoppolo is better because he won more playoff games and he was the quarterback that beat said team, the Dallas Cowboys? Or excuse me, he won 2 playoff games without throwing a touchdown. So are you just going to wager playoff wins versus what you can pretty much manifest with a team that's built around said quarterback? It don't work that way. But what people like to do is, you know, shallow people, they like to look at it and say, well, this quarterback is better because they won such and such. If that's the case in a scenario, Dan Marino is a horrible quarterback compared to Brad Johnson. Dan Marino is a horrible quarterback compared to Terry Bradshaw because he don't have a ring, right? Or Trent Dilfer. I can go on and on. Joe Flacco. It don't work that way, Cowboy Nation. Coach Marv, let it be you to be the final. You be the final caller of the day, man. What's good, Coach? What's good with you, man?
Hey, man. This topic right here, man, is one of those topics that really gets on me because society is has been trying to individualize everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's always somebody's fault, regardless of what goes on. It's the reason because of somebody. It's always individualizing, and you can't individualize team sport. Yes, the quarterback has the ball in his hand. Yes, they say, well, the quarterback is a very vital part of a team. But a quarterback only plays his part in the success of the greatest team support in sports.
Mm-hmm.
I can name you very so-so quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls.
Right.
But I can name you a lot of great quarterbacks that never won Super Bowl. I can name you the Trent Dilfers that did their job for a brief period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we start to individualize sports, this team sport, we start putting unrealistic expectations on players. And the Cowboys do that a great deal when we put unrealistic expectations on people like Dak and a lot of players.
A lot of them.
If you look at Dak's numbers, if I was to give you the blind numbers without knowing who's the quarterback of what team, and you would tell me, could this quarterback win a Super Bowl, and you didn't know it was Dak Prescott, you would probably say, oh, no doubt about it, this guy is a top 10. Yeah, pay him whatever you want him. But since he's at Dallas and the expectations are so high, sometimes our expectations of him are unrealistic. And even if he wins a championship, the expectations would even go even higher.
Oh, yeah.
Because then they're going to expect him to win 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah.
So we just have to tone our expectations, because our expectations for players should be the expectation for this entire organization to be champion. And it's going to take every last one of these guys, all 53 of these guys, to pick up each other in individual moments and to win games. And yes, that's what I want our quarterback to realize.
Yep.
Because if he utilized the rest of his guys, he'll understand he'll get all the credit at the end. And the same thing for the Joneses. If you win, it's not about how much you calling the shot. They're going to give you all the credit anyway.
They're going to give you all of the credit, because nobody's going to mention, the Cowboys had 14 penalties last in that playoff game. No one is going to mention that. But they did mention, hey, this dude went for a quarterback draw with 14 seconds or 10 seconds left on the clock. How crazy the Cowboys are to do that, right? And granted, Dak Prescott had his chance. I'm not saying that he didn't, because he had the ball, I believe, a chance to win or tie the game. I think it was 2 minutes left on the clock, right? 2 minutes left on the clock. And he wet the bed. The same could be said. The same could be said to the 49ers. That's how they got into the playoff game. They literally beat the LA Rams in this regular season game with less than a minute and so many change left on the clock, because Matthew Stafford threw 2 interceptions in the regular season. In the regular season game, not talking about the playoff. So that's what Matthew Stafford had over the Cowboys. He had a chance to see the Rams in the regular season. Well, Matthew Stafford had a chance to see the 49ers in the regular season to make his necessary adjustments. But if not, if that DB, and I'm using words if, that DB didn't drop their ball or what have you, you would have literally seen the 49ers in the Super Bowl with a quarterback who only threw one touchdown in the entire playoff game. How crazy would that be to see Jimmy Garoppolo go back to the Super Bowl and he played in the playoff and only threw one touchdown pass? It would have been crazy, right? But that's how the ball drops. But nobody is saying Jimmy Garoppolo is the greatest thing since sliced bread because they understand that it's a team situation. But go ahead, Coach.
I'm gonna give you one little nugget before I go.
Uh-huh.
There is between GOAT and between success and failure. There's a word. There's a very small 2-letter word. Tech is very important with those two, success and failure, and that's if. If this would have happened, you could be the celebrate as the savior.
Right.
If this happened, you became the GOAT.
Wow.
Biggest team sport ever, but it gets separated by a little 2-letter word. If.
Man, that's powerful right there. That's powerful.
The if word is bigger than what you think it is, because if one thing happens, this will be the result. If another thing happens, this could be the result. That 2 letters, it means a lot.
Man, my goodness, Coach, man. That's a good one, man. That's good philosophy, reasonings of words with if. And, you know, that's why I use that
goodbye.
That poem, if. You know, I might say that at the end of the day. It's 2:00 where I'm at. My lunchtime is over with. You know, I got that executive lunch over here, and I got to get back to business over here. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you're watching right now, the word if you're watching, be sure to hit that like, share this content, you know. It is a situation that we got to pay attention to that, Cowboy Nation. The big word if. And the Cowboys been living through that word for a long time, right? If we would have got Randy Moss, right? If we never fired Jimmy Johnson, right? If they could just work out their difference, right? Oh, my God, that's how it goes, man. And that's just how it is. Unfortunately, the word for us, and I'm going to tell you guys that listening right now, if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, that's the word of the day. That's the word of the day, Cowboy Nation. If. But as the mind travels through time, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or lied about, don't deal in lies, or hate it and yet give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can think and not make thoughts your aim. Most importantly, you guys write this part down and put it on the mirror. If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same. When I was homeless, when I was broke and busted, sleeping out of my car, I was meeting with triumph and disaster at the same time, Cowboy Nation. I always knew that I would be in this moment because of my mind, because of my thoughts and the revelations of my heart and soul and sinew. That's why I'm here, speaking the truth. That's why I know no matter what happens to me, I know I'm living off of borrowed time. Right? Because I've been down there in the low valleys. I've been down there starving, looking for that next meal. But most importantly, Cowboy Nation and everyone, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your whole life for broken and stooped and build back up again with worn-out tools. If you can take one heap of all of your winnings to risk it on one turn, a pitch, and toss, and hear me out, to lose. And yes, I lost many a battles, but I knew the war wasn't over. That's why I never breathe one word of my loss, Cowboy Nation. If you can meet with kings and presidents and never lose the calming touch. If neither foe or loving friends can harm you, hear me out, for those that's not understanding the moments of time right now. If you can feel the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, my friend, you have unlocked the true meaning of what it takes to be a man and a champion. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's grind, baby. And even my detractors, y'all rolling with me too. I see y'all in the chat. Let me see some blue hearts in the chat. Let me see some fire emojis. Let's get this thing going the best way possible, Cowboy Nation. Y'all know how this thing rock. That's what I'm saying. Y'all got to keep your head. And that's the determined factor between what Coach Marv said. If between success and failure. Here's the most important thing that you guys got to understand. You learn more from your failures than your success. Yeah, what he said?
You could not live with your own failure.
Yeah.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally?
Yeah, you think darkness is. So when we play these clips, D-Law teaching, grinding with Sam Williams, he got to understand that, yeah, that's a journey, that's a pathway. And I ain't talking about the path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities. No. Yeah, I'm talking about true gut, true meaning and understanding that, hey, the defense starts from the front, the core. Let's get these boys ready. Let's get their mind together, Cowboy Nation. Defense win championships, right? Y'all know how this thing go. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. DC4 Live. Let's go. Be about. Let's go, baby. We up out of here. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Time to run it up, baby. Let's roll those credits one more time for your mind. Yeah.
I wake up, thumb down that check. No drip, this wet. Tell him run it up.
Tell him, baby.
No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell him run it up. I wake up, thumb down that check. No drip, this wet. Tell him run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell him run it up. 9 out of 10, roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely.
All right.
Turn to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me.
Don't hold me,
I love
dog.
my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies.
Got my homies.
Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me.
Don't zone
I'm
me.
number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady.
Yeah.
The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy.
Right.
Put in my hours, send the invoice, and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ.
Let's go, baby. Let's get those 6, baby. Let me see those blue flames in the heart, in the chat. Well, can't blue flames, but let me see the hearts, the blue hearts.
Might crash, might wreck, but first I time to run it off. I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, this time to run it off. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I time to run it off. Y'all gon' make me take that trip way out to Europe.
Come on.
I call up Nigeria, come through in a hurry. Those London boys don't come to play, you should get worried. One false move, find yourself, they getting buried. Dance with the devil, used to love playing those games. Made some bad decisions that brought my mama pain. I made a promise to her, swore that I would change. I'm on the come up, bet I live up to my name. I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, this time to run it off. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I time to run it off. I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, this time to run it off. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I time to run it off.
Let's go, baby. Let's slow it down just a little bit for everyone that's watching. Hey, come on.
He needs some milk.
No doubt. Come on, roll with me, baby. Hey.
Take a drag of my cigarette. Breathe me out, breathe you in.
Where my dog at?
Yeah. Take a bite of my burger, babe. Save the last bite for you.
And you.
For you. Stop. Don't let the street lights eat you all alone. I was born in it. You know it's dangerous.
Come on, baby.
To go alone.
It's a light party, baby.
Don't let the street lights eat you. Can I be your player too? I'll follow wherever you go.
Watch this sled action, baby.
Whatever you
Slow
do.
music, huh?
Player
Yeah.
7 years of a perfect love. 7 more and another one.
And another one.
And another one. Finding you was the one I lost. 7 wonders all in one. All in one. Don't let the street lights.
Don't let the street lights hit you, baby.
All alone.
All right, for Skip Bayless
You know it's
and Shay Sharp.
to go alone.
Let me just do this right quick. Turn this down just a little bit. This for Skip Bayless and Shay Sharp. Here we go.
Now, so the cocaine's happening. When does that crack come into play for you?
Yeah.
Whatever you do.
Shout out to everybody, man.
Are you embarrassed?
You could not live with your own
If
failure.
a paper crane can fly,
We about, baby.
then forever doesn't feel that far.
Peace. One love.
So far, so far. If a paper crane can fly, then forever doesn't feel that far. So far, so far. If a paper crane can fly, fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on.
have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working,